What's up YouTube, this is David from Dice Airsoft. And this time, we've got a cannon to review. By a cannon, I mean the beta project CHEYTAC M200 intervention bolt action spring powered sniper rifle. First of all, this scope and mount does not come with the gun. This is just something I throw in here just to give you an impression of what a scope would look like on this gun. For the construction of this gun, it is primarily made out of metal, with the only exceptions being the pistol grip, the rubberized butt pad for the stock, and the carry handle. Everything else on this is made out of metal. Because of this thing being made primarily out of metal, this thing is very heavy, weighing about 16 or 17 pounds. This thing is huge. You're definitely not going to be running around with this thing on the field. Trust me, it ain't easy even for me, and I'm alright for fitness, but if you're a small person, yeah, good luck. As usual, start with the rear and work our way to the front. And yeah, I've got the frame a lot wider here. Yeah, good luck keeping this thing in frame. It's huge. Starting with the stock, as mentioned before, it has a rubberized butt pad that has a concave shape in order to fit your shoulder better. On the left side here, it has a sling loop. And on the right hand side, it has a small button, when pressed, which reveals a small monopod, which can be rotated in order to increase or decrease its height. One minor gripe about this monopod, though, it doesn't like to stay in place very easily. It does not lock into place when it's extended. One little jar like that, and out it comes. But it does lock very firmly into place when it's in storage. With the stock as well, there's a small button on the receiver. When pressed, it can allow you to retract or extend the stock. Now you notice when I retracted the stock, it actually didn't require me to press the button. The button press only requires when I'm pushing it in, but if I wanted to retract it, I simply pull it out and then push it forward to lock it into place. The stock, however, will not pull completely out if you retract it all the way. In order to remove the stock, press and hold the button, and you can remove the stock like so. This is basically just so you can do that for transportation or easy storage. Because again, long. To reinsert it, simply line it back up, press it in, and pull in the button here. And it also goes all the way in, making the stock and receiver actually fairly compact. It actually slots right into place with the receiver. Moving on to the pistol grip, we have contoured and textured sniper style grip of sorts that has an adjustable base plate for both height as well as for yaw. It's kind of interesting, but at the same point, this little base plate at the bottom here doesn't like to stay in place, as it's all the way cinched down, and I can easily move it. I just basically keep this at its lowest point, so when I'm snapping, I can just rest my hand on that. Moving on to the receiver, which is also, again, made out of metal and very large, but it does have a monolithic top rail, which allows you to mount any kind of optics that you choose, be it a short dot scope like this, or a very large sniper scope, or even something like an EOTech magnifier, if you so choose. At the very front as well, along the barrel, it also features a very small rail section right here, so you can add an iron sight if you so choose to use iron sights, or you could add something like a camera or a night vision magnifier or what have you to this point. Personally, if I was running this, I'd mount a camera at that point. Being that this is a spring-powered sniper rifle, you'd expect it to have a really long pole for that bolt. What they've done to remedy that problem with this particular gun is that they have short-struck the bolt. Pulling it back, that is the maximum reach that that bolt will have to be pulled in order to cock it. Two things to note with this bolt. For one, the rear plate is very, very loose from the factory and will possibly come loose upon gameplay, and you might actually have this whole thing malfunction as a result. Highly recommend using blue Loctite to keep that in place. Second of all, when the magazine is empty, you will not be able to move the bolt all the way forward and lock it down into place. Please make sure that you don't do this, because if you have it cocked and then it goes forward from not all the way pulling back the bolt, you will actually damage the feed lips on your magazine. So make sure that when you have your bolt out, remove your magazine, and then you can safely close the bolt. As for the magazine, this thing is huge and heavy, and also holds 100 rounds. It's not likely that you're going to need a second magazine when you run this gun, so yeah, that's actually a really nice plus, because then you don't have to carry additional of these huge magazines, unless you're going on a really long milsim up and need extra mags. But I personally think that one mag for this gun is perfectly fine. Additional mags will also be probably pretty expensive for this gun. One more thing about this gun, when you receive it in the box, it will come in 2 halves. This is because both the reel and this one can actually separate. The gun comes with a small tool that removes this delta ring at the front. You can then pull this spring operated lever down, rotate your carry handle, and you can actually separate the whole thing into 2 separate halves, making this very easy to transport. That's actually a really nice plus for this gun, considering how huge this thing is. This also functions as a carry handle when you need to run with this gun, or if you don't feel like slinging it over your shoulder or using it on a sling. It's actually a very solid carry handle, despite being made out of plastic. It also comes with the integrated swing-out bipod. By pressing the buttons on the side here, you press and lock them out into place. You can also pull down on them in order to extend them. If you want to retract, there are small buttons on the legs that you use to easily retract them back into place. These bipod legs do not swing forward, they only go down and to a back lock position. At a later time when I'm not so busy, I will also be doing a shooting test for this gun, so keep an eye out for that in the near future. Unfortunately, I've been slammed with work really hard lately. I'm working mega overtime this week. So, keep an eye out for that video in the near future. A couple other small gripes that I have about this gun. Aside from its huge price tag here in Canada, this thing is about $700 to $800 here in Canada. And for what you get, you can actually upgrade a regular spring-powered bolt-action sniper rifle made by Well, JG, or TM to easily outperform this for a much lower price and a much lower weight as well. Because this thing here is mainly just a collector's item, or if you really want to challenge yourself with a huge sniper rifle. But the other couple gripes that I have with this gun is that its paint leaves something to be desired. You can remove the magazine. Even from just a few removals, the magazine is very easily scratched. But the worst part is, when you pull back the bolt, you can actually see that the bolt itself gets very scratched very easily, as well as the internals of the chamber are also painted, which means that over time, with friction that's being worked all the time, that paint is going to get into the action of your gun and gunk it up. To be honest, they should have just polished that out. The external paint for this gun is also very cheap, as I can scratch it very easily with just my fingernail. For example, right here on the outer barrel, just by doing this. That's how easy it is to scratch off. Of course, you can do your own paint jobs to this, which most people do with their sniper rifles anyway, but I just figured that was one small gripe that I should make sure you guys know about. Hope you guys liked my video on my Beta Project M200 intervention. If you do, don't forget to leave. Hold the thought. I see an Airsoft owl. Let's test the range of this thing right now. I did warn him to duck. Damn, missed. Don't stand there, Canadian! Don't forget to check out the rest of my content on YouTube. I get out of chase. Hold still so I can shoot you in the face!